Hello, welcome to the channel, or welcome back. I'm going to be talking about Bleach today. This is going to be a video about the Lost Substitute Shinigami arc, or the Fullbring arc. I've seen people call it both, so it's that arc. And it probably goes without saying, but at this point in my Bleach journey and my Bleach videos, this is going to be full spoilers. So if you have not read up to this arc or watched up to this arc and you want to, and you're interested in Bleach, I would recommend not watching this video because you're definitely going to probably have something spoiled. So without further ado, let me get into my thoughts about this arc of Bleach. I think for this video, I'm just going to call it the Fullbring arc because the Lost Substitute of Shinigami is too long for me to keep saying. So we're just going to call it the Fullbring arc. This arc was quite a bit shorter than the others, just having come off the Arrancar arc, which was massive. That arc was so long. I think the longest in the series. I crunched some numbers and I'm pretty sure I found that the Arrancar was the longest. So just having come off of that to this was kind of a nice change of pace. I kind of liked the shorter length of this arc. It was just like a nice little reset before we get into another really long arc, 1,000-Year Blood War. So I enjoyed the length of it. That's what she said. So this arc, the Fullbring arc, it spanned, I don't know, maybe 9 volumes or so. I'm going to put the number of chapters and volumes up on screen somewhere just to reference. But you can see it's a pretty short arc. I really breezed right through this arc. I mean, I read Bleach so fast. I really enjoy that about Bleach, that it reads so fast. I think a lot of that is because of the minimalistic style art and paneling. And because it's in between two much bigger, seemingly important arcs, I was not sure what to expect with this one. I didn't know if it was just going to be like super throwaway, like just completely fluff, like what it was going to be. If like Kubo was going to put no thought into this, like I just had no idea. And by the end of it, I was honestly really pleasantly surprised. Like, to be honest, I actually really enjoyed this arc. I thought it was really good. It was exciting. It was almost a different tone than the rest of the series. There was there were still a lot of battles. I was going to say it's like less battle heavy, but there was still a lot of like random little battles and training, like a training montage kind of. So I don't know, it fit into Bleach really well, but at the same time, it just was a little bit, I don't know, it had more like of a thriller vibe almost to it than just like purely action. Like let's all just fight each other all the time. So I liked the kind of psychological thriller tone it took on. It was kind of fun. But let me start at the beginning. Right away, I really liked the time jump. I think it was 17 months since the end of the Arrancar arc and now beginning the Fullbring arc. That's a long time. That's more than a year. And I like that we could see right away how all of the changes that have occurred since the end of the Arrancar arc have affected Ichigo. And it showed me why I really like Ichigo as a protagonist. He, to me, seems very emotionally mature. And I know he has like some of those little like manga moments where he's like freaks out at every little thing and just like, I don't know, the little manga humor. But for the most part, I think he just seems really emotionally mature. I remember saying that in my very first Bleach video, and I think it still rings true. He's not just positive, optimistic, happy-go-lucky all the time. You can see him actually processing things that happen to him and happen around him and happen to other people that he cares about. And he doesn't always take them in stride and say like, it's going to be okay. We're going to win. We got this. It's all going to be fine. It just makes him feel so much more human and complex to me, that he is allowed to kind of feel emotions other than happiness all the time. I don't know. A lot of his other shonen counterparts in other series, I feel like are that way, where it's just positivity all the time, which, don't get me wrong, can be fun. I think it has its place and it has its time, but it's just nice seeing a main character who is actually allowed to go through like little bouts of depression and just feeling inadequate and feeling down. I like that. Like I said, it makes him just feel more human, and it's so much easier to relate to him and just feel, kind of a connection to the main character. So I really like Ichigo, and I like how he's written. And in this arc, you can tell, it's really obvious. He's sad. He's depressed about losing his powers and losing his connection to the Soul Society and not being a Soul Reaper anymore. I like that Ichigo goes through a journey of, can he protect people? Should he protect people? Does he he want to protect people? Does he want to be altruistic? And here it's almost like that choice is taken away from him because he's lost his powers. He doesn't even have the ability to help people the way that he knows how to, which is through brute force, you know? It's not fun. I don't want him to be sad because I like him as a character, but it just makes sense for the character that he'd be feeling that way. So I just liked that. And I, along with him, he as a character was around Soul Reapers and in the Soul Society and all this stuff for so long. And so was I as a reader. We just spent so long around other Soul Reapers. That was our character family, okay? So now us being away from all those characters too, it's like it feels like I'm like a fish out of water. You know, it feels not right. Like it doesn't feel right to be back in the land of the living with all the humans. I can feel the same as Ichigo. Like we both just feel out of place. I liked that I could just get into that headspace along with him. And like, to be honest, I know how these stories go. I knew he was going to get his powers back at some point. That's inevitable. It's just, how is he going to get it back? What's the journey towards that going to look like? I think Kubo did a good job of conveying the disappointment from Ichigo that I felt it too. So, you know, good writing. So basically, I think this arc had a really good beginning. It was a really good setup. Good internal conflict for Ichigo before the external conflict of the arc happens. I also really liked, this is kind of towards the beginning still, how Orihime, and Chad, the other kind of almost main characters, like supporting protagonists, you would call them. I liked how they got more to do at the beginning because they were the ones that still have their powers and Ichigo doesn't. So we could see what they're up to. And I liked the dynamic that was explored here of them feeling like they need to protect Ichigo instead of the other way around. It was very interesting. And honestly, it just showed me that they're all just such good friends. And then we got introduced to the Fullbringers, and that was interesting as well. I didn't know that we were still going to be getting new facets of the Soul Society, Soul Reaper worlds, but here we are, still learning new things. New powers still emerging, new abilities, all that stuff. The Fullbringers as a whole, I don't know how I feel about them. I still at this point don't know. I kind of just let it happen in the story, but I still in the back of my mind kind of feel like it maybe feels a little contrived. I'm really curious to know if Kubo just thought this up on the fly to be like, I'm going to put this arc in before I end it, or if he had it planned from way back when, you know, like if this is a planned thing for a while or not, basically is what I'm wondering. I do think he found a good way to fit it in. I don't know. It's not bad. It's just when you compare it with all the other stuff that's happening, it's like, oh, kind of convenient that these people are here, but okay. Sure, why not? I'm also curious if we're ever going to see them again or if they just exist in this arc. I mean, they obviously at the end kind of set up that most of them are still alive. Like most of the Fullbringers are still alive. So like, I'm sure we could see them again. I don't know. I guess we'll see. The villains of this arc, Tsukishima, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and Ginjo, great villains. Oh my gosh. And the twist villain thing that they had going on, I did not see that coming. I really did not predict that. I thought that was a really good twist. I was super into that reveal. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure my jaw dropped. And even Tsukishima alone was a really good villain. His power was so dark. The ability to affect your memory and your mind, that is terrifying. Like that was terrifying in the plot. See, this is where I'm talking about. This was where kind of the thriller, like the psychological thriller vibes come in, because the fact that he goes after Ichigo's friends and family, that is such good drama. That is such good tension, conflict, stakes, all that stuff. Like great storytelling. That was a great choice. It just made it so compelling. I didn't want to put the manga down at that point. And then with Ginjo, like I said, I didn't see the twist of him being the villain all along coming. And I liked his history. Not only him being the twist villain, but also the fact that he was he the first deputy Soul Reaper? That whole aspect too. Also did not see coming. I thought that was a cool twist as well. It explains a lot about him and why he has so much pent-up aggression and frustration, especially with the Soul Society and Soul Reapers. It was very fun. See, like this is the thing where the Fullbringers do still kind of feel a little bit contrived to me, but at the same time, like Kubo found a way to put it in the story so that it makes sense with the lore. He ties it all in with the Soul Society and Soul Reapers. So it all still worked for me really well. I also just want to say a quick note about Orihime during this arc. I love Orihime. She's one of my favorite characters, I think. I loved that she was, I think, the only one that knew something weird was up with Tsukishima, because as soon as he stabbed her with his like memory blade, she was like, I remember him as my friend, but that doesn't seem right. And I don't think anyone else ever clocked that in the rest of the arc. They all just accepted that he was part of their lives with no question. I liked that she was able to notice something off where no one else did. And I also liked her kind of friendship, because Orihime is just so nice. Like, she just can't help but be so nice and kind to everyone. But I like that she just developed this kind of friendship, unwilling friendship with the one Fullbringer. I'll put her name up on screen. I forget her name, but she was like one of the only women Fullbringers, one of the only two. And she just reluctantly became friends with Orihime, basically. So I love that. Okay, so the ending fight I just want to talk about now. Exciting. Of course it was exciting. It always is. Kubo does great ending fights. He does great ending battles. I love Uryu coming in for the save at the end to help Ichigo. Basically his only ally left at that point. I love it. When we think back to the beginning of this manga, where Uryu basically hated Ichigo because he was a Soul Reaper, Quincy versus Soul Reaper, he was just so diametrically opposed to Ichigo, like fundamentally, that without Ichigo even knowing, they were basically rivals, like arch rivals. And now to see them be this good of friends, where Uryu comes in to help save Ichigo and be his only friend left, basically. It's a nice arc to that friendship and that relationship. I love it so much. And then all the other people that we've kind of been waiting for, Urahara, Ishin, and Rukia, she's back. I was so excited. That was really, really, really fun. And then more Soul Reapers came, and they all have new looks. I love everyone's new looks. The time skip looks. Love it. I'm here for it. And then all the ending fights were really fun, and all the matchups were really fun. And as I said, Kubo knows how to do ending, like the final battles. He's so good at it. And then, of course, Ichigo got his powers back. We all knew he would. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. We all knew it. So that's kind of all my specific thoughts about the Fullbring arc. Overall, I think this was a really fun arc. I enjoyed it much more than I could have predicted. Lots of tension in the arc, lots of conflict. I just really liked it. Even though, like I mentioned before, I kind of had Soul Society whiplash. At the same time, it was kind of fun being back in the world of the living. I feel like we were gone from it for so long in the narrative. It was just like fun to check in and see what's going on with all Ichigo's friends and his family and all that stuff. So it was a good arc overall. It was very compelling, very enjoyable. And now that I'm done with this arc, looking forward, I only have one arc left before the series is over. I know it's going to be a really long one, but still. But I am so excited for the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. I have seen, without ever meaning to, just stumbling across things, I've seen kind of some art and panels from the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, and some of the stuff I've seen looks really, really cool. I don't know what I'm in for, but I am excited for it. I'm really, really excited. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say about this arc. Excited to keep going. I don't want it to be over, but at the same time, I want to get to the final arc. If you have gotten this far in Bleach, if you've read or watched this far in Bleach, I would love to know what you think of this arc. I'm really interested if people actually liked this arc or not. I don't know. I liked it, but maybe not everyone did. So let me know. I'd be very interested to see. Otherwise, I guess that's all for me. Just until next time, I'll definitely make a video, maybe multiple, depending on how fast I get through the last arc. I might make 1 or 2 videos. Until next time, just, have a really great day or morning or night, wherever you are. Farewell.